Hello there, my name is Edgar. Core by Premier software can be used to set up new stock items, their prices and associated promotions with ease. Therefore, in this video, I'll show you precisely how to do this using Core. Part 1. Setting up stock items. First, log into Manager if you're a single site business or Administrator if you are multi-site. We will first look into creating a new stock item. Under the Stock section, click the Stock icon. Here you'll be presented with the Stock Search screen. To create a new item of stock, click the Create New button in the bottom right of the screen. You can now start to set up your stock item. First, type in the name of the product in the description box. Make sure this is something easily identifiable. Next, input the barcode of the item if known. Then, input the manufacturer of the product, such as Elemis, using the drop-down menu as well as the category of the item. Next, select the income center where you would like any monetary sales to head to when bought. After, select the stock type that the item will be used for, from professional, retail, or both. In the site default details below, you can then select any supplier details, including the supplier name from the drop-down menu, any supplier reference provided, the gratuity, and anything else needed. You can also select to order whole packs only if necessary. Next, select the room details, such as the number of stock items you have left before needing to reorder, the minimum units you will need to order, as well as the maximum number you can have. You can then select which sites to allocate the stock to for use if you have more than one. Simply highlight the site in the unallocated box and click the single right arrow. This will then allocate it. You can also select all available sites using the double right arrow if necessary. Once done, click the green tick. You will now be able to highlight the items from the Stock Search screen and click the green tick to amend any details. In particular, you can click the Site Details tab to add any further information that is site-specific if you are multi-site. For example, you can add an alternative description for listing in your system, which will help you identify the item easier. Should you need to amend the pack size for your items, then you can amend the quantity here. You can also allocate tax using a drop-down menu. Most importantly, you can allocate the room this will be stocked at, simply by highlighting the unallocated room and clicking the single right arrow. Once finished, click the back arrow. You can then search for the item as needed using the search filters at the top, including using the barcode, supplier ref, stock type, or the manufacturer and category filters. Part 2. Setting the item pricing structure. Once you have set up your stock items, you can then set up their pricing. In Manager or Administrator and under the Financial section, click Pricing Structures. Next, select the site this applies for on the right. If you have yet to create a pricing structure at all for your site, click on the green plus. You will be presented with a New Prices window. You will then have the option to either create new prices or create new prices based on existing prices. If you select the second of these, you can choose to have the prices based on those at your current selected site or from an alternative site, which you can then select using the drop-down menu. Once selected, click the green tick. You will now see a list of stock under the Stock tab. If you already have an existing pricing structure for your stock, you can amend these prices simply by changing the price in the columns. As this is a new list and as you're updating an existing stock list under Sites, select None and then use the drop-down menus to select the manufacturer and search for your products. Select the new stock items you added and head to the Retail Price column. Then input the price you would like to sell your item for. Remember to also input a stock cost of purchase in the applicable column. Click the Confirm button once you have made your amends. You can then click the Copy Stock button to copy the stock. Select the site you would like to copy the stock from, click the single right arrow, then select the site to copy this to. Remember to select the price structure to copy, then click the green tick. Part 3. Promotional Pricing. Once you have set up your stock items and pricing, you may wish to set up promotional pricing during specific periods. To do this, head to Manager or Administrator and under the Financial section, click Promotional Pricing. Here, click the green plus to create a new promotional price. You will then be presented with a new promotional prices window. You can either create new prices or, like setting up new pricing structures, create new prices based on existing prices as well as the applicable site. Make sure to set the end date of the promotional period at the top of the screen using the drop-down arrow. When you're ready, click the green tick. You will now see your list of items under the Stock tab. Next, input a promotional code for clients to use to gain their promotional price in the code box. Then write in what the promotion entails in the description box, such as 10% off. If you are happy for all staff to issue this promotion, make sure the security override box is left unticked, otherwise tick this in the top right for a manager to provide authorization with every client who uses that code. Next, scroll down the list of items and tick their boxes to make sure they are included in the promotion, particularly your new items that were set up. Once done, head to the discount type column and use the drop-down menu to select whether it is discount value, discount percent, or manual override types of promotion. For this, we will use the discount percent option. You can then head to the discount box and set the percentage amount for every applicable item. If it applies across the entire range, you can head above the columns and use the drop-down menu there to select the discount percent and input the percentage. Remember to click the Update All Selected button as soon as you have done this. Once you're ready, click the Confirm button. Your items will now have the promotions applied to them. If you have yet to experience Core by Premier Software, why not book a free presentation using the link in our video description on YouTube or visit our website at www.premier-core.com. Alternatively, you can find out more about Core when you telephone our sales team on +44 1543 466 580 or email us at sales@premiersoftware.co.uk. Why not subscribe to us on YouTube for weekly videos on how to use Core and click the notification bell to receive updates as soon as they become available. You can also follow us on Twitter at Core by Premier and LinkedIn at Premier Software Solutions for regular content. Take care and thank you for watching.